Today we are going to talk about IP address. What is an IP address? What are the different types of IP address? What are public and private IP addresses? And what is an IP address block? So first of all, let's see what is an IP address. IP address is basically address of a machine in a network. So for example, if there are multiple machines, for example, A, B, and C, and if you want to communicate between these three machines, then they need to have some separate identity so that each can know which machine is which. So that's why we assign an IP address or an address for each machine. Naming of this machine is done. There are two naming conventions, IPv4 and IPv6. So IPv4 is an old format, but it is the most widely used format currently. Since IPv4, the number of machines that can be addressed. For example, we had numbered our machines like 0, 1, 2, and we had an IP address range of 0 to 10, 0 to 9. Okay, then we could have named at most 10 machines. If more than 10 machines, if there were more than 10 machines in our system, then we would have needed another representation for this, for naming a machine. So in IPv4 there are basically the name consists of 4 blocks of 0 to 255 numbers. In each block you must have seen that there are IPs like 10.0.0.0, 192.168.0.0. Let's see what is IP of google.com currently. Let's see what is IP of google.com currently. NS lookup. NS lookup google.com. So IP of google.com is this. This is IPv4, and IP of google.com, IPv6 of google.com is this. Now this is IPv4. So each and every number is from 0 to 255. And now there are special IP addresses in the whole block. So for example, IP addresses are going to be in the range from 0.0.0.0 till 255.255.255.255. Okay, so this is the IP address range, and some portions of the IP range, this IP range are special. For example, this is a special IP address. Okay, other special IP address is this 127.0.0.1 or 127.0.0.8. But before you understand what the /8 indicate, let's see how an IP address is made. So computer understands only zeros and ones. Everything is 0 and 1 for computer. How do we represent IP address inside computer for computer understandable format? So as we have seen that it is 4 blocks of 0 to 255 dot 0 to 255 dot 0 to 255 dot 0 to 255. So each 0 to 255 can be represented 8 bits. Number 255 can be represented in 8 bits as all bits are 1. 2 raised to power 0 plus 2 raised to power 1 plus 2 raised to power 2 plus 2 raised to power 3 plus 2 raised to power 4, like this. And then you will be able to get 255. So you can see we have 8 blocks of 0 to 255. Yes. And presence of 1 inside the bits makes an IP address. For example, here 5 is represented as 2 raised to power 0 plus 2 raised to power 2, which is 2 raised to power 0 plus 2 raised to power 2. It is 0th position, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 0, 1, 2. Okay, so this is 5. 2 raised to power 0 is 1. 2 raised to power 3 plus 2 raised to power 5 plus 2 raised to power 1. 2 raised to power 7. 2 raised to power 7. 2 raised to power 5. 2 raised to power 3. What does it represent? 2 raised to power 7 is 132. 132. Whatever it is, 2 raised to power 7 plus 2 raised to power 5 plus 2 raised to power 3 is equal to 168. And similarly, we are when we are doing this, we can see that it is 192. So this is how IPs are represented in the computer understandable format. Now let's try to see when we write an IP address range like 192.168.0.0/8. What does this signify? This /8 signifies that how much bits from the right are going to be excluded or are going to be changeable in this IP address range. So 192 is this, so and 168 is this. 0 is present here and it is present here. So 8 bits are changeable in this IP address range. So these bits are changeable, so they can go from 0 to 255. This bit is fixed, and we have 0, 192, 168, 0.0, and this. So we will have IPs from in this IP in this range. We are going to have 192.168.0.0 till 192.168.0.255. These are going to be the IP addresses in this range. This is called CIDR block, classless interdomain routing. We are not going to go why this is called CIDR block, but for the sake of understanding IP addresses range, it is very important to understand this IP address range because you will be using this information at some point in your technical career. So this is 192.168.0.0. Let's try to see another IP address range. Let's try to see what addresses are going to be present in 192.168.1.12. Not 1.12. Let's write dot 0.0/16. How much IP addresses are going to be present in this? So these two ranges are going to be variable 0 to 255, 0 to 255, and this is fixed. So it is going to have IP address from 192.168.0.0 till 192.168.255.255. So how much are these IP addresses? 255 into 255. So it can be written as 2 raised to power 16. 2 raised to power 16 IP addresses are present in this IP address range. So having knowledge of breaking down an IP address range is very important to know whether a particular IP address belongs to your range or not. We are not going to go much deeper in this. This is the preliminary understanding of how this is present. Let's try to understand the thing public IP addresses and private IP addresses. So just like there are special IP addresses like 127.0.0.1, there is another special IP address 127.0.0.0/8. How much IP addresses will be present in this range? 127.0.0.0 slash till 127.0.0.255. These much IP addresses. So that means 0 to 255 is 256 IP address. 256 IP addresses are going to be present in this IP address range. This is called loopback IP range. Loopback. So that means if you have a laptop or a system, and if you want to hit IP of your local system only, for example, there is an application or a browser that is running on your system, server, anywhere, and you want, and another application is running on port, let's say 80. So how will you hit this IP address? One way is that you will hit public IP of your laptop or a server. So it is going to go to the internet and it is going to travel through all the routers in the world or through which your internet is working, and then it is going to come back to your 80 port. That is one way. Another way of doing it is, rather than going this much around, or you can hit loopback interface IP address. This is the IP address range. Commonly used IP addresses for loopback is 127.0.0.1. This is the IP address. So if you hit this IP address and port, it is going to hit your systems, your local systems 80 port like this. It is not going to go over the internet. It is going to go like this to your local port only, and that is how you can access local processes running on any port in your server on your system. So local to your system on which you are working on. So that is loopback IP address range. Now let's try to understand private and public IP addresses. What the hell is private and public IP address? Private and public. So just how you have private and public of your life, there is a private and public addresses. So for example, you have a company, and this is the AWS or any other cloud of your company. You have multiple servers running which are having confidential data, and you don't want any external world or any external this is private. You don't want any external public entity or public user to be able to access this, your cloud. So how are you going to do that? When our ancestors were designing the internet address space, they had this problem in mind. They kept this problem in mind, and they designed the IP address space such that some blocks in the IP address range that we have seen from here till here, some blocks in this IP address range were reserved for private use only. They are not available to the public. So each and every person can have its own private address, and all the routers which are basically enabling the internet to work have been configured in such a way that any private IP address cannot be accessed from the internet. So for example, if this is cloud and it has secured everything, and this is the last router through which internet is accessible. So here it is all secure. There is no internet access, and let's say this is the only internet point. This server is the only server that can access the internet. So it is going to go outside. So this is the public. So for example, here are google.com server. Here are this is Google. This is Facebook. This is Twitter server. And here is your laptop that is connected to the internet. All these things are connected via routers, which enable the internet that we use. So all your ISPs, internet service providers like Jio, Airtel, or any service that you're using, also is an ISP. They have their routers which enable you to route your traffic, your intended traffic, to any place you want. So for example, if you give IP address of your of google.com, then your ISP is going to find a route from your system to google.com. So what we were talking about, private IP addresses. Private IP address, for example, there are three ranges of private IP addresses. One of the IP address range is this. One of the IP address range is this. Another IP from 10.0.0.0 to 10.255.255.255. So any IP address having 10 in the starting is a private IP address, and there cannot be any public entity, or you cannot reach any IP address outside your subnet. Subnet is basically sub part of the network, or basically part of your network. So you cannot reach any IP address outside your network with the IP either 10.0.0.0 or this IP address 172.16.0.0 to 172.31.255.255 or 192.168.0.0 to 192.168.255.255. Okay, so these are the private IP addresses. So you can have any private IP address in here, and you can just have, so each and every IP address costs some money. And when you have a private network, you don't want to spend IP address. You don't want, first of all, you don't want internet connectivity to all the instances that are running. Second, you want to secure your network so that any hack is not possible, any unintended access is not possible. So what you do is you give private IP address like 10.0.0.1, 10.0.0.2 is like this. You are going to give private IP addresses so that these machines can interconnect with one another via router, obviously. So via networking they are able to interconnect, but any external entity that is not part of this your network, this is your network, this is the private network that you are establishing, cannot access these servers directly, because whenever this server intends to access 10.0.0.0 or 10.0.0.1 or any other IP from the private address class, it is going to whenever this request lands to his router or ISP, he is going to route this 10.0.0 request to his subnet only. So for example, there are two networks, two companies, company 1 and company 2. Both have 10.0.0.0 slash 8 addressing, 10.0.0 to 255, and 10.0.0.0 to 255, 10.0.0 to 255. So each and every server can access this IP among their cloud or among their network, but they will not be able to access IP of this server directly. There has to be some special configuration management, some special setup for these servers to access private network range of another subnet or another provider. For example, company 1 cannot access private address of company 2 directly without any special configuration. There are some special configurations, some special setup that has to be done so that one private network can access another private network securely. So that is the case. Whenever this server, for example, this server, let's say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and when, for example, let's say this server intends to access server 4. So when this server is going to access, try to access 10.0.0.4 IP address, this router that is present, it is going to route this query or this network packet to servers in this cloud only, or this private network only. It is without any special configuration, it won't be able to route this traffic from subnet here to subnet here. So private addresses provide a way of securing your network, reducing your IP address cost by not having IP address for each and every instance that you're running, and they also provide secure mechanisms. And but unlike private IP address, public IP addresses are accessible from one public address to another public address. For example, Google.com's server can access Facebook.com's public servers. For example, this has IP 199.165.x.y, whatever is x.y, and this has maybe 200.75.76.77. If there is no firewall configuration or there is security configuration to block or allow only specific IP addresses, then these servers can connect. At least basically there is network connectivity, like routers know the details for routing from 199.165x, say, till 275.76.77. Routers know how to route traffic from this to this, but routers don't know how to route traffic from public to private IP address or private to public IP address. So how will, since this is the case, we have our private network, we have three servers, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to say IP1, IP3. These are private IP addresses. So how are servers going to access? How will, since this this server does not have any public IP address, these servers are not having any public IP addresses, how are these servers going to interact with the outside world? Because let's say they know IP address of google.com, that is G1. They will be able to connect. Let's say for instance they are able to connect from IP address this IP address 1 to this. There are multiple routers, so they know the information of routing traffic from a particular location to address G1 of google.com. But when Google is sending the response back, it will be sending response to IP address 10.0.0.0. So it won't be able to, Google won't be able to send this packet back or information back, because routers don't know how to send back information for 10.0.0.0. So whenever Google wants to send response to 10.0.0.0, it will be able to respond only in its private network range or private network range. So it won't be able to send back the response. So to solve this issue of connectivity, what we have is, whenever we are setting a private network, we have a network address translator, also called NAT, network address translator. So all these servers which want to private servers or private instances that want to send traffic to google.com, they are going to send request to this private they are going to send request to NAT IP address, private IP, public IP. So they are going to send request to NAT. NAT is a special purpose software. NAT is a special purpose service also, that basically translates private IP addresses to public IP addresses and keeps all the bookkeeping of this traffic transfer. So when private server 1 wants to connect to google.com or wants to fetch data from google.com, it is going to route this traffic via NAT, so that a public IP address of the NAT comes in picture, and it is used, this public IP address is used to access google.com. And when the response is coming back from google.com, this NAT knows that what was the originating server that had sent request to google.com, so it can respond to that server only. NAT is a bit more complicated than this, but this piece of information is enough to make you understand how this happens. We're not going to go deeper in this. So that is the working of private and public IP addresses, and they use NAT or Network Address Translation Service or application to basically exchange data between private cloud, private IP address space to public IP address space. Everything outside private IP address is a public IP address. So how do two companies which are having their own NAT or sorry their own private address space, they have private addresses servers, they have basically address with the 10.0.0.1, 10.0.0.2, 3, 4, and another private company which is having servers like this. Let's say their IP address is 10.1.0.1, 10.1.0.2, 10.1.0.3. So they can basically configure their private network to know that whenever these servers, for example 10.0.0.1 request a first of all, they will have to set up a tunnel so that whenever request from this private cloud A comes, wants to access any information on 10.0.0.1 or 10.0.0.0/8 and 10.0.0.0/8, 10.1, sorry. So whenever private cloud A wants to access any IP of 10.0.0.08, then this IP will be routed to this tunnel. This is called a tunnel. Tunnel is a dedicated resource between two clouds or two networks. I'm telling you in terms of clouds only. They may not be the right terminology in when we're talking extremely technical, but they can help you understand. It can help you understand how things work from a high level perspective. So whenever IP address this server 10.1.0.2 wants to connect to, let's say 10.0.0.1, let's try to write it. When 10.0.0.2, sorry, 10.1.0.2, it wants to connect to 10.0.0.0 slash, no, sorry, 1. It wants to connect to here. Then the piece of software knows that whenever there is an IP address of 10.0.0.0/8, whenever there is an IP address here, it has to route this request to this tunnel, and when this tunnel request land here, it knows that where the IP 10.0.0.1 is, so it is going to go like this. First of all, it is going to go like this. Then it is going to go over the servers, over the tunnel. Then it is going to be routed from here to here. So that is one of the ways in which two private networks can access one another with a special piece of configuration, of special piece of management software they have to use to enable connection between two private entities. And one more important thing is all this here, sorry, all they're basically hosted on different parts of the world. So everything here is internet. They are let's say this was in Africa, and this was in US. Okay, and so tunnels and basically special configuration softwares, they basically handle routing from one private IP address to another private IP address of non-clashing blocks. So if there is an IP address block, for example, let's say if this private address was rather than 10.1, it was 10.0, then it would not be directly possible to request 10.0.0.1 server of this IP address of this private network. So they need to have a non-clashing IP address range when they want to access from one private IP address to another private IP address in different networks. I hope you were able to understand a bits and pieces of private and public IP address. What is an IP address? How does an IP address know where to go? Though I'm not covered it, they know it via routers and ISP configurations that are present across the world. They enable the routing of IP addresses. Now you're able to understand what a public and private IP address is and what are their differences. Please let me know if you have any other queries regarding this. I'll be happy to help. Thank you. Have a nice day.